I lost myself for a while, and I didn't even notice it happening. That's the part that gets me now. This video is about how it started, and what it actually looked like from the inside. It started small. I met someone and things felt easy, so I leaned in harder than I needed to. She'd mentioned she had a rough day and I'd rearrange my whole night around it. She'd go quiet for a bit and I'd start checking in every few hours, asking if she was okay, if I did something, if there was anything I could do. At first that felt like care. It felt like being present. I told myself, this is what showing up looks like, so I kept doing it. More calls, more checking, more adjusting myself to whatever mood she was in that day. I wasn't asking for much back. Honestly, I wasn't asking for anything. I just kept giving, thinking eventually it would even out, thinking she'd notice and meet me somewhere close to where I was standing. She never really did, and I didn't stop to ask why. I just gave more. I canceled plans I actually wanted to keep. I stopped bringing up things that bothered me because I didn't want to seem difficult. I started shrinking my own opinions down to fit whatever she seemed comfortable with, and I didn't call it that at the time. I called it being easygoing. I called it not making things complicated. After a while, I started replaying stuff constantly, lying there at night going over conversations, wondering if I said too much or too little, wondering if there was a version of me that would have made her show up the way I did. I kept searching for the exact moment I lost ground. Like there was one thing I could point to and fix. I couldn't find it, because there wasn't one moment. It was just me, slowly agreeing to less and less without ever deciding to. I'd catch myself asking, did I come on too strong? Was I too available? Should I have waited longer to text back? I was auditing myself constantly, like I was the problem that needed adjusting instead of just two people who wanted different things. And that kind of thinking doesn't stay in one place, it leaks into everything. I started doing it with friends, with family, second guessing normal reactions, wondering if I was asking for too much, just by having a preference. What I keep noticing now looking back is that I wasn't actually loving her that hard. I was managing her. I was trying to control how she felt about me by controlling how much of myself I showed. Less opinions, less needs, less friction, so there'd be nothing to push her away. I thought that was patience. I thought that was maturity. It wasn't. It was fear wearing a calm voice. And I see this pattern in a lot of people now. Not just me. People shrinking themselves to stay likable. People mistaking silence for peace. People thinking if they just ask for less, they'll finally be enough. And honestly, dating right now doesn't help any of this. Everyone's got options. Everyone's half in. Texting 3 people at once and calling it keeping things open. Nobody really commits early. They just kind of test the water for weeks, sometimes months, without saying what they actually want. So when someone does show slight interest, you cling to it like it's rare, like it's proof you're worth choosing. And that makes you overgive immediately, before you even know if the person's capable of matching it. You're not really building something with them. You're auditioning for a part that hasn't even been cast yet. Underneath all of it, there was this fear. I didn't say out loud, not even to myself. The fear that if I stopped giving, there'd be nothing left holding it together. Like the relationship only existed because I kept feeding it. So I kept feeding it. I told myself it was love. I told myself I was just someone who loved hard, who gave everything, who didn't do things halfway. But somewhere in there, I stopped checking if any of it was coming back. I stopped noticing. I was doing all the work of keeping something alive that wasn't mine to carry alone. And what scares me thinking about it now is how normal it felt while it was happening. I didn't feel like I was losing myself. I felt busy. I felt useful. I felt like I was doing something right by doing so much. It's only looking back that I can see how small I'd made myself, how quiet I'd gotten about my own needs, how I'd started measuring my worth by how much I could tolerate without complaining. I thought that made me strong. I thought that made me the reliable one. The one who doesn't overreact. The one who stays calm no matter what. But calm wasn't actually what I was. I was just scared to find out what would happen if I asked for more. There's this one memory that still gets me. She mentioned once, kind of offhand, that she liked when guys didn't make a big deal out of stuff. Just a passing comment. Not even about me specifically, but I heard that and just filed it away like an instruction. So after that, I stopped mentioning anything. I had a bad week at work and didn't say a word about it. I was tired constantly, barely sleeping, and just said, "I'm good," whenever she asked how I was doing. I started treating my own stuff like it was inconvenient information, like sharing it would cost me something I couldn't get back. I thought, that's what not making a big deal looked like. Really, I was just erasing myself one sentence at a time, one conversation at a time, and she never asked me to do that. I did it on my own, trying to guess my way into being exactly what she wanted before she even had to ask for it. I remember one night specifically, sitting in my car outside my apartment, not going in yet, just sitting there, running through the day, wondering if I'd said something wrong during a totally normal conversation. Nothing had even happened. She hadn't said anything off, hadn't seemed distant, nothing. I just couldn't stop checking myself. Like I was constantly on trial for a crime nobody accused me of. I'd rewind small moments, the way I said something, the pause before I answered a text, wondering if any of it read wrong. That's when it actually scared me a little, not the relationship, the checking, the fact that I'd built this habit of watching myself from outside, grading every word before it left my mouth. I wasn't relaxed around her anymore. I was performing relaxed, and there's a difference. One is peace, the other is work you don't get paid for. There was another time I canceled plans with my own friends, plans I'd had for weeks, because she said she might be free that night, might not even a solid yes. And I dropped everything just in case, sat around waiting on a maybe. She ended up busy anyway, and instead of being annoyed, I just told myself it was fine. That's just how things go. No big deal. I kept doing that kind of thing over and over, treating her maybes like appointments and my own plans like they were optional. I didn't even notice I was doing it until way later. Looking back at how many nights I spent waiting on something that never confirmed itself. What I understand now is that I wasn't scared of losing her exactly. I was scared of finding out I wasn't worth staying for if I just showed up as myself, plain, normal, sometimes tired, sometimes needing something. That's the actual fear underneath all of it. So I kept adjusting instead of testing it. Easier to shrink than to ask the real question and risk the real answer. And I think a lot of people do this without ever naming it. They think they're just low maintenance, easygoing, chill, no drama. But a lot of the time, that's just fear, with better branding. It looks calm on the outside, but it's just quiet. Panic managed carefully so nobody sees it. At first I thought giving that much was love. I thought the more I tolerated, the more it proved how much I cared. Like tolerance was some kind of currency I was building up. But it wasn't love. It was fear dressed up as patience. Love doesn't need you to disappear to keep functioning. If something only survives because you keep shrinking to fit it, that's not depth. That's just quiet collapse happening slowly enough that you can convince yourself it's calm. Real worth doesn't come from how much you can absorb without saying anything. It comes from being able to say the normal, small, human things. I'm tired. I didn't love that. I needed more today. And still being wanted after you said it. That's the actual test. Not how much you can carry silently, not how little you can ask for. I don't think I fully trust that yet, honestly. I still catch myself softening things before I say them. Still feel that small flinch before I bring something up, wondering if it's too much, if I'm being difficult. But I notice it now, and noticing it is different from just living inside it without knowing. I say the thing anyway sometimes, even shaky, even imperfect, just to prove to myself I still can. It doesn't fix everything right away. It just breaks the pattern a little each time. And I think that's actually how it works. Not all at once, just slightly less each time. I'm not trying to swing the other way either, into being cold or guarded just to protect myself. I still want to care about someone the way I did before, still want to show up, still want to give real effort without keeping score. I just don't want to do it at the cost of disappearing while I'm doing it. There's a version of giving that comes from fullness and a version that comes from fear. And for a long time, I couldn't tell them apart. I think I can now, most days. I don't have some clean ending for this one. I'm not fully back to whoever I was before all that started. I'm just paying attention differently now. I notice when I start shrinking, and I try to stop before it becomes a habit again. That's really it. No big lesson, no perfect fix, just noticing sooner,